Okay, welcome everybody. It's Christina Merkley. It's another one of the Process Pop-Ups. Believe it or not, this is number 20. So I started them when COVID hit in the middle of March, when it was sweeping its way across to North America. And we're doing them about once a week, and now it's kind of coming about every 2 weeks or so. We'll see. Also on the developmental curve for my business is I will be creating some private sat songs is what I'm calling them. Which is like a private version of this. This particular one with the Process Pop-Up, as you know, is free and it's publicly shared. But right around the corner are going to be some private ones for those who want to be in a cohort. I'll flash the dates for that at the end of this session today. I don't have the sign-up pages ready on the site, but I am putting it together and I have the dates figured out. And there's two offerings, one on Tuesday evenings and one on Saturday to accommodate different people's schedules. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and just go over the ground rules, the meeting startup for today, just so we're on the same page. Judy's joining us new. Susan and Connie, you've been here before. We may have some of the others who've been here because they know I do a preamble, so they skip the preamble. So you should be seeing in front of you a map, one of my visual maps. Let me just get these out of the way. There we go. So clean out the view a little bit. So these are the Process Pop-Ups. The whole deal with these outcome-wise is just to support during these transformative times, everything that 2020 is giving us, and you come as you are, everything's okay on the emotional scale. It's inner work assistance. Hopefully it provides some community and some connection with like-minded people. Continuity, a through line through these times. There is a accompanying page on my website that has several visual tools. I will be using visual tools throughout today, depending on what emerges. Some of them I have made available over on my Process Pop-Up page, and you can find that on my site, www.shift-it-coach.com. It's an emergent agenda, which means it's different every time. Different people drop in. Who you are at that moment of time is different. And in a sec here, we'll just pass around the mic and do some quick check-ins and who you are, where you are, and if there's anything that you're bringing to the group to process, so to speak. And out of that, whatever emerges, we find our way. And I will meet it with whatever process tools or techniques that I think make sense. So it's unique and different every time. I love that. Never know what's going to happen. So role-wise, I'm here as your host, right? I'm the container holder. I bring a lot to the table in terms of being a facilitator and a coach and non-dual perspective. I've got a Kundalini process happening and unfolding within me, which is interesting. You might see my hands at times do various things as the energetics move through me. When it gets a little juicy or heated or in flow, right? The hands like to move. So they're just doing their own thing, I think, at another subtle energy level. You are co-creators in this, so we're all in it together. And sometimes our personality, ego selves show up, and what we're also wanting to do is settle some of that nervous system stuff and move to the higher expressions of ourself. So head, heart, and gut, our three brains show up here. Over here in the norms, it's not always traumatic. So when you show up for a process group, sometimes you're in a really great place. And if you are, then you can access things that are higher on the emotional scale. That's always lovely. And other times there is traumatic stuff going on. 2020 has given us it across the board. So down here at the bottom, you see this green kind of corner. So moving from the trauma field into the generative field. And sometimes we're already in the generative field, like I said, thankfully. I invite you to inhabit your own experience. So it's very easy to slip into talking about you or kind of general kind of statements. And when that happens, I'll pop up and I'll say, I, can you own it? Can you turn it into an I? And that'll shift the energetic of it and the response. Critique concepts, not people. This is all about spotting conditioning and unraveling into true nature. Triggers and charges and activations are an awesome place to start. So it's totally okay to come triggered or even have something that happens. I might trigger you, somebody else in the group might, right? from my point of view, that's an opportunity if we can slow it down and work with it, and you have the openness to do that. Language around it is orphans. Usually behind activation and triggers and charges is something from earlier in our experience, and it happens lightning fast and usually at the subconscious level. So orphans, be it something in your childhood, your teenage years, your adulthood, it could be something from yesterday. And often on their heels, those vulnerable parts of us, we have protectors and those bodyguards, right? And so the parts of us that protect the more vulnerable parts. Sometimes we'll have bodyguards duking it out in the process group. So deep bows to bodyguards and deep bows to the orphans that they're protecting, and deep bows to being willing to work with all that stuff and see where it leads us. I think that gives an overview. If you do need to leave, we've got a small group today, so just feel free to unmute and let me know, or you can just drop a note in the chat function as well, because that also will help me know, are you leaving because you just needed to go somewhere, or are you leaving because you're upset? And, you know, people are adults here, so I don't usually chase after people, but sometimes I want to and I need to, and it just feels like the right thing to do. So work with me, please, and let me know what's up if something is up, so that I can follow up if need be to, you know, do what I need to do here. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of what this is about. You may or may not have seen, Judy, I know you're new with us today. You may not have seen these recordings or seen, you know, stuff that's been happening here, but you've been in previous containers with me. So this gives you a sense of the development and just what's unfolding here in my work in the containers I'm holding. Okay, so that's kind of our preamble here to get us here. Let me just take a quick look in my, yeah, I don't see anybody in the waiting room. So I don't know if something's going on with links or access here, but I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, let's pass around the mic. Like I said, it's fine. I trust the process, whoever shows up. And when we have a nice group like this, then we can have some even distribution of the time and lots of attention too, if you want it. It's harder to hide though. when there's less people like this, it's like, you're on, if you care to be on. Okay, whoever wants to go first, we'll just do it popcorn style, which means in your own pace. Unmute, say hello, name, geography, whatever you care to be named today. And if there's anything up for you, let me know. That gives me fodder for our agenda, and we will likely work it.
Hi.
Hi.
Of course, it's been crazy in America. Yesterday got really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I am right now, it's challenged by the number of opportunities.
Mm.
And working hard to keep a thread. So I'm holding vision space. I'm not the only one holding vision space, but I'm the one that can implement. Other people are just shouting their visions, and then I'm grabbing them and trying to make something of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then someone else calls with a different vision, and I go off in that direction, and I'm leaving other very relevant visions behind. So I'm feeling a little like I spend my weekends trying to get centered again, and then the chaos begins, and I really want to break that cycle. So that's going on. And then the other thing that is going on is I'm still struggling with all the equity stuff. And I've got some private coaching with you, and I'm gonna, I think, use part of that to help get words around that, you know. some of the words around that is I come from the generation, my parents, you know, grandparents really faced the oppression. And I come from the generation where we acknowledged the oppression, ignored it, and tried to excel.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there is this energy around, have I actually done a disservice to those of the new generation who are trying to say, look at all this oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And because because people point to me and say, well, that isn't Connie's experience in our community. And, you know, I'm politely saying, no, it actually is my experience. I just decided to be polite and move through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm struggling with how much do I call it out after, you know, 30 years of just smiling, grinning through it.
Mm-hmm.
And how much do I just, you know, what's my responsibility?
Okay, very good. Thank you. Whew, powerful stuff. Thanks, Connie. Who's next?
I'll go next. So I'm Susan. I live in Edmonton, which is in Alberta. And
Which is in Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. And we actually have, it's very smoky from the fires in the States. It's our sky is smoked out, which is weird because we're quite far north. So it's not unusual because we get forest fires around here too. Fort McMurray, of course, burnt down a couple years ago. But it makes me think about the people that are on the ground living in that area, the fear. I mean, because this has not been enough this year. Crazy this year. Something else happening in my city right now is that all the land obviously belonged to Native people and was just taken. And the government tried to just kill all the Native people and they survived. So they set up there's a big camp, a homeless camp it's just in the river valley, but it's taking up a lot of space, and I feel like I should just go down there and see what's happening, but I'm a little afraid, to be honest. I just think it's a moment in time it's a change. They're making a change. But, you know, I feel like COVID, everything's so crazy that lots of change. Like you said, there's lots of opportunities. So things that you wouldn't have really felt like trying. Now it feels like, since everything's crazy, why not? Mm-hmm. But personally, I'm not doing very good.
Mm.
My work's changed and it's not the job I want. So I'm a nurse, but I also work administration. And somehow the administration has been taking over my life, and I've been giving more things to take care of and more things. And I think if I don't get a nursing job, like a better nursing job now, I never will, because I'll be sucked into this administration thing because no one cheers for me, only me. The doctors don't care if I get a good job, they just care if I've done the work for them. Mm-hmm. That's really where it comes from. It's only me cheering for myself, and it's very hard. Mm-hmm. And I also wonder where that came from. Obviously that's an orphan thing, but like, how come in my life I've never tried to really excel? I've never felt like I could. I never, like I look at my life and I think, why is this it? Like, why didn't I I have 2 university degrees. Why didn't I carry on and, you know, become a professor or something? Why did I just stop? Why did I settle? Why did I settle? Why is this what I think is good enough for me when it's not? But what happened in my life that made me say, it's not worth to try? That's eating at me. And I find also, because I can't go to Cuba where my husband lives, I'm here. And that's difficult. Because they have nothing to eat there. There's no food.
And you got married.
Well, no. That's a whole...
Okay, you're using the term. Fair enough. Yeah.
Like 6 years now. I think I just told that. That's long enough, but no.
I was just checking in case something happened since the last time we,
No, that is a whole other issue, because the government of Canada has to approve before I can get married, which is really good and will take years and hustle. But anyways.
Okay, sweetheart. Thank you very much. Judy. To whatever you care, you could just unmute and just name and geography's fine. But if there is anything that you want to work to, I have a sense we're going to do one after the other inquiry process. So I can feel that with Susan, and I feel that with Connie. So don't since you're new, you are welcome to check in to whatever extent you care to. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I also appreciate everybody sharing. I mean, really candid, you know, this strange format. My name's Judy Adams. Well, there we go. I've just put my name all over the internet, right? Can we edit?
We can beep it out.
Okay, good thing. I'm living in Arizona right now. I'm from California, born and raised. A long time ago, I was born in '46. So I was living in San Diego up until January of this year. And I'll just give a little bit of background if it's okay. So we bought this property out here in Arizona some time ago, back before the housing market crashed. That's how long ago it was, right? And when there was some money flowing in the coffers with our consulting business. And anyway, and then we tried to settle out here after the housing market crashed and stuff. And I lasted about 2 years before I lost my mind and went back to San Diego. So I thought maybe I could actually slow down and just do something. So it didn't work. I went back to San Diego, went back to work. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist with a Jungian bent, right? So I went back and worked, and I worked in hospital settings instead of doing consulting. That's where I went after the market and everything crashed. So when I came back here this time, I came back in January thinking, okay, I'm ready to be done now. And I just wanted to say, in terms of nursing, my heart goes out to you working in this field, because I know what's happened in the world of the helping professions. Just more and more of your time is eaten up with timeline process and administrative stuff. And that's exactly, you know, it gets harder and harder just to do the work. Anyway, so I came out here in January with my husband, and I thought, this is great. I'm going to settle back and figure out what I really want to do. And then COVID hit, right? I mean, so it was like we weren't here but a month or so, you know, in a serious kind of way, when everything shut down. And we live near Laughlin, which is a little resort town across the Colorado River. So the reason I wanted to join back in is because when I've worked with Christine before, the whole process is so creative. And it's another way to get things done and another way to tap into a creative process. And that's what I've come back for. So I'm really happy to listen today, and glad to hear other people share stuff and just have the contact with other people. So
Beautiful.
That's it.
Yep. Awesome to reconnect and see you. And I can also feel the bumpiness of the path over those years too. So a deep bow to the process of what you've been through and what's continuing to unfold. Not easy times that we're all in the midst of, and these systemic issues.
It's amazing.
It's all coming up for a head. We've had 2 other colleagues pop in here, so I just want to recognize them. We're just doing quick check-ins, so name, geography, however you care to be referred to. And then if there's anything you're bringing to the table process-wise, let me know. We'll find our way as per usual. from the things that are on a coffee table about what we do. I think we're going to do some inquiry one after the other by the feel of it here. LB, do you want to go first?
Sure, this is Lisa. I'm in Point Reyes, Northern California. And today I'm just bringing a desire to just bring some soothing to the overwhelm that I feel. And it's just so many projects. Like I wake up and I live in a small space and everything's in front of me and I can't stop. And so I'm like working morning to night on these projects and ideas and courses. And it's just kind of crazy. I understand that it's a part of just really creating a life for myself, but it's just really feeling crazy. And I just would like to
Not feel crazy.
bring some balance. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready for a puppy. And so
Yay,
I really want to have
good.
this house puppy proofed and this life puppy proofed. And so I have 2 months and I want to do that. So
Excellent.
Yep.
So some shifting has been happening since the intensive, because that was a big
Yes.
focus for you with the intensive. Happy
yes,
to
my
hear that.
puppy will be born the 26th on my birthday.
Oh. How does one know when a puppy is being born? Do they make those things happen on a certain day now, or what?
No, it's around the 26th. So that's the
Okay.
day they're expecting it. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Well, excellent. Wonderful.
Great
to
to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. Karima.
Hi, everyone. I am Karima Ropel. I am in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And today this week I've been really focusing on being more organized and decluttering. I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces and I was feeling overwhelmed. And I am coming into just being more organized. Like I went to a shredding event this morning. I was shredding things from 2014. Part of me making it
That
here
feels
today. Part of me making it here today is being organized because it's on my schedule and I keep missing it. And I'm like, even it's an hour ago, I was like, oh, yep, I have to be there. And I still came just a little late. But yeah, I'm feeling good today, and I feel like I am getting more organized in decluttering stuff.
Okay, cool. One of the ways to work with that overwhelm is the organization and letting go process. I love shredding. my nervous system responds to that. Oh yes, shredding. A shredding party. I've never heard of that. I think I want to be a part of one of those. Good to have you here. All right, I'm going to dive in. I'm two things are what I'm calibrating with, and I'm sure there may be more, but there's only so much time here. Also, I want to remind folks that there are free recorded sessions, one-to-one, that I'm doing as well. Behind me on this wall is all the ones I've done, and I'm up to 38. So you can find those on my website too. You'll see there's a tab that says free 2020 support. So if I don't get to you and you would like to have some one-to-one with me and you're okay with it being recorded, you can use a pseudonym. You can have your video on or off, whatever you care to. Just know that that is available as well. Of course, I have paid private coaching if you would like to be in a private container like Connie was mentioning. Okay, and there are some paid satsangs, private groups coming up as well, just right around the corner. Okay, so with that said, Susan, I want to start with you first, if I may. And you've been around Inquiry a little bit, and for anybody else, just a reminder here, we just meet what is, and it unfolds from there. To give your left brain a little bit, because all of us have left brains, and most of us here are process people in one way or other. So left brain, you have a role in here, left brain, but this is also a way to contact the other side of us. These are analogies, of course, right? They're just labels and way to reference things quickly, but the right brain, the emotion, the intuition, the right brain is tapped into everything, right? We can think of this as the subconscious, the collective unconscious. Take your pick of terms, right? The good old left brain has good access, but it's very limited and it's into doing. So we're also going to bring in the other side. This is where the balance happens in the non-duality. oneness happens as well, is getting into that right brain that is often, not always, different people are lined up in different ways, but often it's given short shift in our world. And it's of my belief that a lot of what we got going on in the world is because we've been very left brain dominant with all that goes along with that. And so here's a way of bringing in the feminine and bringing in emotions and humanity, right? As opposed to just the mental and the logical and the masculine. And when I say masculine, feminine, you know, I'm not just saying men and women, right? We're talking the bigger principles here. Okay, so with that, we just, the entry point is whatever the heck is going on. And oftentimes when we've got things that are so-called lower down the emotional scale, we like to push them away and do different kinds of behaviors to forget about them and not go there, right? And distance from them. The best way is to meet something and welcome it. That's where the biggest shift really is. So Susan, you gave a lovely preamble here, so we get a sense of, you know, what's up for you and what you're meeting. So I'm just going to invite you to take a couple of breaths and settle into your system as best you can, which means into your body. And if you're just in your head, you can be in the head, right? But the breathing brings you back into the body. Oh, and we all breathe, myself included. And then just see what's there. It might be an emotion, it might be a feeling, it might be a thought. It can be whatever the heck it is. So just let me know as you settle in what your consciousness brings to the fore.
Probably is just this feeling of despair.
Yeah, good word. Not a fun place to be, but it's wonderful to be able to articulate it. So despair is showing up. By the way, as I work with Susan, you may, with what she's working, have resonance. And so you may find that things happen for you parallel processing wise as you go along, or you may not. Anything that's going on for you as you're witnessing and holding space here is totally okay. Different people are wired in different ways. So just where Susan goes may not go where you go particularly. Okay, so despair. Do your best to feel into that despair where it lodges in your system, and welcome it, meet it. Even, hello, despair. And despair, you are welcome here.
Yeah, despair lives here and I share the space. That's how I feel.
And that's humor. Hello, humor, we welcome you. Sarcastic, lovely humor, love that. And probably some anger or frustration in there as well. That would be my sense of it. Just feel into that because there was a rush that happened there, and see if you can identify that rush and also welcome it.
I don't know. I'm just overwhelmed is how I feel.
Good. So that's where you go next. So that's totally okay. So do your best to just, hello, overwhelm, and agree with it. You're right. You are right. I am overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. These are aspects of our consciousness, right? You're accessing it, but it's all of us too at the same time. So just go ahead.
They come from me. I mean,
yep.
They don't come from, you know, the carpets I didn't clean or the whatever. It comes out of me. I know that. That's from my own self. So,
well, let's try this too. Yes, it's from you. So it's micro, it's individual, but this is also universal, right? So human beings, there's a long history. This is an archetype even. Human beings, our poor little nervous systems, when we have a bunch of different stuff happen over and over again, we get overwhelmed. So it's overwhelming. So you are right. This aspect of you that's rising up, that's saying I'm overwhelmed, and all those feelings that go with it, just do your best to agree. Like, you're right. We don't like this. We do not like this. And just see what happens as you meet it and you agree with it.
I guess I hope that I can find a way through it.
Okay, good. So what pops up, here's the mind, right? So the mind is like, I got to figure this out. What's my way through this, right? So there's mind. So hello, mind. Awesome that you popped up. What's my way through this? This is what our minds do. Like I was saying in the opening, our minds are like doers, right? The mind's like logical, rational, a doer, a planner, right? Our poor minds have a tough time when there's a whole lot going on and it can't sort it out its usual way. The steam starts to happen and it can't compute, right? And it's like, zzz, and it tries. Like our minds are so loving, right? It just keeps trying. It's a one-trick pony because it has only one way of being. It's trying to figure this out. And it's like, what's my way through this? And so appreciation to the mind. Thank you, mind. Thank you for existing. Thank you for doing your damn best. And thank you, I know you want to have a plan.
Yeah, it's sometimes I don't know where to start, and then sometimes I think I don't know how to do things, and that's the problem. Like somebody hit my car. They were doing some construction, and someone backed into my car and scratched the roof of my hood. And I just was like, I don't even know what to do, so I just didn't. And my friend is like, no, you have to go to the police and you do this, this, this. But I didn't do any of them. And I just thought, like, I don't know. I just thought I can't be bothered or something. I don't know. It was weird because I just don't care. I just don't care that someone hit my car. Well, that's bad attitude, that's for sure. And
okay, let me slow you down. You're given a lot here. So we want to just slow it down and meet it. So out of this mind stuff came a flash about a particular circumstance in your life, this car and the dent, right? And then the realization around, I can't be bothered and I really don't care. And so just meet that. Just meet that. You got the doer over here, and then you got something else that just showed up over here, which is like the anti-doer. So just get curious, go hello, hello. See, because you brought an inquiry at the beginning, there was a lot in your inquiry around, how come I'm like this? I've got some patterns, I've got some conditioning, right? So this is now starting to show a little bit of the answer here, right? This other aspect of yourself. So just say hello to it. Hello, hello. You're popping out of consciousness here. This is interesting. Hello. Hello, the opposite of my doer in my mind. You know, you're kind of amorphous and I don't understand you, but hello.
yeah,
Just see what happens, and maybe even give it some flowers or something, because it doesn't show up and you don't have much of a relationship with it. So it's like, what do you want to give it? Just to kind of like encourage that you're open to engaging with it.
you mean the part of me that just can't be bothered.
Yeah, yeah. Because you had the mind and then this other part showed up afterwards, right? So that part, you know, it's like, it's somebody you don't know very well. So, and if you want to be sweet with it, sometimes it helps to give it a little offering, right? Like some flowers or a little welcome, hello.
Well, it's not like it's, it's not like it's a stranger to me, that's for sure.
Okay. Oh, so you do know it.
Well, you know, I honestly don't know why my whole life is like that.
Okay, good. There's the mind again. So why is my whole life like this?
And my sister, well, it's a long story, but my sister moved back into her house that she had before she got divorced. So she had like a big housewarming and she decorated and she had it painted and like, it was beautiful. And I said to her, wow, I've never been proud of anything, because she was so proud of her little house and her back garden and her flowers. And I was like, I actually said to her, I've never been proud of where I live. Like, I just feel like I've never felt like I've done something to be proud of.
Okay, so that's what's emerging next. So let me get that down. So never done anything that I'm proud of? Just take a moment to meet that and see what happens as you meet it.
Well, of course, immediately I thought of something that I could be proud of.
Good, good. So here's the response. So what flashed?
It's just a little flash of, oh, well, you did sponsor that refugee family.
Wow, cool.
And I was like, yeah. And I thought, well, I was younger, you know, but I did bring a family of 3 from El Salvador.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, I didn't have a car, and I saw them every day for a year, and I had to take the bus there. Now I think about it, I think that was quite a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
When I said I've never done anything proud of, that was the thing that popped into my head.
Beautiful. So this is that other aspect, right? So we're often working with dualities here. So there's 2 sides. So one side is like, I've never done any damn thing I'm proud of. And then out of consciousness pops, oh, wait a second. You sponsored a family from El Salvador. Thank you very much. So just take a moment to bow to that memory and to that aspect of yourself that gave the counter, right? About sponsoring this family. And then just see what happens as you meet that.
I'm so surprised that popped into my head. Because it was 30 years ago. But I'm just so surprised that immediately my brain said, oh no, that's not true.
It hasn't forgotten. It's not going to let you get away with the one side of haven't done anything. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess getting a nursing degree the same year I was diagnosed with MS, that's kind of a big deal.
Yes. Okay, good.
When you're in your 40s, that's kind of a big deal. But somehow I've never gotten a job in nursing that felt like I was a nurse. That sounds weird, but I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, so you're just going back and forth here, so I'm going to get it down. Never got a real job in nursing. So this beautiful side that flashed, the sponsoring the family, and then on its heels, it reminded you, oh yeah, and another thing, you got a nursing degree the same time you were diagnosed with MS. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You're right, you're right. Thank you. Then your other side, this mind side popped up. Oh, but wait a second, don't get carried away. You never got a real job in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
You might have done that, but you never really turned around and got a real job in nursing. So just agree with it. Okay, you're right. I never got a real job in nursing.
Yeah.
And then just see what happens.
You know what happens is I think about you. You may remember that in nursing school, I was bullied by the preceptors, and
I do remember.
I had to repeat and all that.
Okay, so that's what happened. It flipped. What a lovely aspect, right? This other side, psst, you got bullied. That was part of it. You went through a horrendous thing. So it's like, it makes sense that you didn't go for a typical nursing job, because when that kind of trauma happened, most people would not go for that. So it's like you were bullied. That's why there's some trauma that happened. That's why you didn't go get the regular quote unquote job in nursing.
Well, it's true, because I work nights and I do home care. So I never have to work with nurses, which I say to people, the only thing I learned in nursing school was that nurses are bitches. And that's that. And people say nurses eat their young, and it's true. Nurses can be really vicious to other nurses. And I tried so hard to not have to work with any nurses, but now I need a nursing job because I don't want to be this administrative person. I don't want that job.
Okay, so the other side, now that it's met that, it's like, oh, but now I need one. Now I need a different job.
Yeah.
And you don't want to stick it in min anymore. So it's thinking the only option is to go into nursing in a straighter head-on way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a problem getting nursing jobs because there's tons posted, but they're just 6 months because they've pulled a lot of nurses to do the COVID testing, and their spots they want to fill someone, but then in 6 months you're going to be done and back looking for a job. So it's
Okay.
quite difficult. But I mean, I did find a mat leave position I might apply for.
Okay.
And it's in home care. So hopefully, I just have to say I'm going to get it, because that's how I have to think.
So here's the mind. And so the mind's already been doing, and thank you, mind, right? Awesome. You have a left brain and a powerful aspect of yourself that is already been doing the researching. And it's like, okay, well, COVID testing jobs are out there. However, it's saying that those are just going to be temporary. So it's only going to be 6 months or so. So it's kind of like, eh. And then there's mat leave position. So it's sniffing around that. So just do a little bow, like, thank you, mind. Thank you, left brain aspect of myself, for being on it and for starting to research it. Just see what happens as you meet that and acknowledge the work. You know, it's working with you. And then see what happens.
Yeah, I guess the catch is that I have to keep the admin job because I get benefits, and I can't pay for my own medication because it's very expensive. So I have to get, if I get a nursing job, it has to have benefits.
Okay, so agree with mind. You're right. Good idea.
Yeah.
We like benefits. We like medication.
Yeah. I mean, it's important that I have to balance all these things out, and my brain obviously knows that, you know, I can't, how much I would love to just not go to work anymore would be great, but that's not a reality.
So agree with it. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Thank you for trying to balance all this stuff out. Thank you for working on my behalf. I know that you'd like to just can it all, but we can't do that. So I so appreciate you continuing to work within the circumstances. Just be appreciative of it, because there's aspects of you that are just really working tirelessly. And again, big love. There's big love. They love and care about you. So much so that they'll just work themselves to the bone, right?
Yeah.
How sweet is that? I'm going to try something here. So that whole tireless and work to the bone, just see that aspect of your consciousness is, it feels pretty tight, and it feels kind of locked down and constricted. And this love stuff is more of its true nature, instead of this kind of frenetic kind of, you know, exhaustion kind of feel. Just see if it would like to expand, if it's tired of being kind of contracted in there, and just remind it that there's more options besides the contraction, that actually it can release and unfold and take up some more space. It'll know how to do it if it responds to that. Just ask it, do you want to stay contracted like that? Or would you like to unfurl a little bit? See how it responds.
I can honestly say I've never imagined that my brain loved me. That's just a
Right, that's huge.
It's a whole new thing to think about.
Okay, good. So just focus in on that love, and that's probably what that expansion is. So now that you've realized that it loves you, invite that heart of it to get bigger. It's kind of been hidden underneath stuff. So allow, it's like, oh, I just realized you got a heart. Hey, would you like that to take up more room? It's allowable. I see you now. Just see what it wants to do. If there's a expansion in there, if there's permission for it to get bigger, and it'll know how to get bigger if it wants to. So just see what happens in your system.
Well, I guess there's a different, I mean, I even if there's jobs, I sometimes don't apply because I already decided that I wouldn't get it. And I think you apply for so many jobs and then you just don't get them. You just say, well, screw it. And you don't apply anymore. And then years go by and you still are only working part-time but I think I need to think, I don't know if I can explain this well.
You're doing it.
I need to, I guess, not assume everyone is against me. And I need to look at options and stuff with more love instead of just fear. Because fear is fear I'll be stuck doing this administration job because I need the benefits.
Okay, so this other side is definitely love connected, right? So it's this heart is getting bigger and bigger, and it's also given shared some wisdom, which is like there's more options besides fear. And so don't worry, don't think about everybody being against you. Don't focus on the fear. Yes, yes, yes. Focus on the heart. Open up, open up. Just agree with it. How wise it is. How lovely an option that is, that coming from that heart aspect as opposed to the other aspects. Yes, yes, yes.
So the fear is not coming from my brain. It's not logical, right? It's a feeling.
Could
Does that
be.
make sense?
Well, sometimes thoughts lead to feelings. Doesn't really matter. So the mind's trying to figure this out. So just say, yeah, thanks. We don't know. We don't know if this is coming from a thought or this is coming from a body. It's okay, mind. Doesn't matter. This is heart stuff. Mind's not going to be able to figure out heart, right? So just reassure mind. It's okay. It's okay. You're just letting the heart get bigger here. The heart's taking over. And then see what happens. And see if anything's happening as that permission for that heart to expand. You might feel, what does it do? Does it stand up? It might root down. It might expand out.
Well, if I think that my brain is, if the focus is more love and not just analytical things.
Right, right.
And because I can sit and analyze all day.
Yep, 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 yep.
Stuff instead of just going online and applying for a job. I can think about why, and always job descriptions have like way more than a person could have, right? Like 5 years experience ICU. Well, not very many people have that, right? So they don't actually expect you to have that kind of experience. It's just, I look at it, oh, I don't have that, and then I'm done. Well, that's dumb. But I also think that if I am focusing with more love, then it's okay to ask for help.
Beautiful. Okay, good. So just apply. It's okay to ask for help. Good. It's giving you a different way of being. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good advice. We like that. Feels better than the fear route and the just shooting it down route. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and then just feeling like it's just me suffering away here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What's its flip? So if it's not you just suffering away, what is the heart showing you?
that people can relate.
Mm-hmm. Not alone, not alone. People can relate. Yes, yes, yes. Sweet. Let's see what unfolds from here. That might be a place to leave it for now, but just see what else is there.
Well, I think that, well, I do actually need help with some things, so I
Good.
get my sisters to help me.
It's giving you some good to-dos. Excellent. So now the plan is showing up. Get my sister's help. Good.
And sometimes it's just like I want new blinds, but I don't know, I can't measure it by myself because they're really big windows. And it's simply, I mean, it's just simple things like that that I can't do by myself. And Good. So ask for help, agree with it. You're right, you're right. So number one, it's saying get sister's help for, what was that, the resume? Well, I usually, when I do a cover letter, I send it to them and then critique it and send it back. Okay, good. Excellent. So that's going to continue. And then there's also get the help for the blinds, because it's like, yes, 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 you can't do that on your own. Easy enough. Get somebody to help you. Okay. And excellent. Sometimes I think it's not that I can't, it's not, you know, the car dent, I don't care person. It's that I just don't know how to do things.
Yeah. So this loving aspect is going, it's okay. You don't have to know how to do everything. You can ask help, and you have people to help and assist. It's reminding you you're not alone. How sweet is that?
I feel like honestly, I didn't know how to clean a house because my mom she'd go like mad the night before company came. That was how she cleaned the house. So, I mean, she'd be at midnight sewing new curtains. She was crazy. But so I feel like I'm an adult, but I don't know how to clean my house because I don't know. And so,
Okay, so this is part of those answers you were searching for before. So this wise aspect of yourself is saying you weren't taught. Why don't you know? Why are you like this? Because you weren't taught. And it also sounds like there's some family and ancestral kind of patterns and conditioning there too, right? So it's like passed down stuff. So it's just telling you it's okay. You come by this honestly, right? There's some family stuff and ancestral stuff you weren't taught. So that's part of your answer. So just thank it. You're right. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the answers that I came in asking.
so I don't need to feel bad that, I mean, I clean my house, don't get me wrong, but I just, sure there's a way you're supposed to do it that's easier.
Yeah, so you don't need, you're right. You don't need to, the heart's saying you don't need to feel bad about this.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, so agree with it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We like that. We like the permission to not have to feel bad. Yeah.
Adults don't know everything. There you go.
There's another good one. Good. So wise, right brain. Adults don't know everything. True. So true. Because there's been other side's been beating you up thinking you're an adult. You should automatically know all this stuff. Okay, what a sweet aspect. Good, good, good. See if there's anything. We're going to wrap this up, but you can continue connection with this wise right brain side of you, the heart side, the feminine side, anything else that wants to get across while I've got the stylist here to take notes. Any other to-dos, anything else, soothing thoughts, perspective it wants to share? Just listen in and see if anything else comes across.
I don't think so. I think that's given me a different way to look at, you know, how if you have despair, it's, I think, because I'm not looking at things positively at all. Like I'm just saying it's all negative.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah. Okay, good. So this inquiry has shown you a different way to look at it. It's you started here understandably, and now it's balancing out and showing you the other aspect of it and taking out some of that lopsided thinking and feeling. It was thinking, and now it's brought in the feeling and the balancing. So just deep bow to it, deep appreciation. This larger aspect of your wisdom and intelligence showed up, and just thank it for doing so. Just how much it loves you and how much it's there and how much it appeared for you and for all of us here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And how much better it feels to not be thinking with fear all the time.
Yeah, what is this? If it's not fear, what is it?
Love.
Yeah, beautiful. Ooh, goosebumps. To feel from love, not fear. Okay, deep bow.
Yes.
To the inner sage. Excellent. Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, beautiful. That was our inquiry here. So I'm going to switch to Connie here soon enough, but I want to leave some space for anything that people want to say to Susan, anything that you're noticing as you connect, because this is universal. So there may be ways that you personally connect in to the piece of work that Susan did. Let's just go there first before we make a segue. And I'll do some coloring. No thoughts, no responses?
Yeah, I mean, Susan, it was painful to hear how hard you are on yourself. And then when you switched, it's like, wow, that was amazing. I don't know that I would have had what it takes to do that. Um, so when you do shine, you really shine. So, you know, I mean, it was real. I mean, that part was really amazing. Like, wow. Getting a nursing degree while being diagnosed with MS, that's shining. You know, you're amazing.
Mm.
I wish that you could see yourself like others probably see you.
And she is. She's doing the work. So she
there.
is.
You're getting there. You could hear yourself getting there. You could hear yourself arguing with yourself.
Most of us have sides that are more active than others. And so this is just acquainting and balancing it out. Nice work.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks, Connie.
Thanks for sharing with us, Susan. Yep.
Anybody else?
Christina, this is Karima. I originally, when she first started talking, I was thinking of your flip it process immediately. I was just like, oh, she just needs to flip it. You know, she just needs to flip it. I also thought, wow, it would be nice. It was nice to see you evolve and get it, almost like the aha moments were happening in real time. I have nothing to do with nursing, but my cousin has a nursing staffing agency. And yes, it's really hard to keep good nurses, but there's tons of opportunities in nursing. So the first thing I thought of is people just need to know that she's looking. There's tons of opportunities, like, you know, where she's qualified, overly qualified probably, and could move with grace. So, yeah.
Nice. And that you have that connection through your sister's business. So you have that one-to-one knowledge. Thanks, Karima. Yeah, and this is another way of accessing, just like we do in Flip It. So this is another process, but we're getting to the same balancing of the consciousness. Yeah, which is there. It's just a little piled up and underneath stuff right now. So Susan, you found it beautifully. Good. Anybody else? Okay, then I'm going to do a quick save on this. And I'm going to switch gears and we're going to go to Connie's world. And I think we're going to use the same process, if that's okay by you, Connie, unless you have other ideas. I think inquiry is the way to meet this too, because in my experience, it's the fastest way to get there. If we've got limited time and we've got various things that are being juggled, right, in the left brain and right brain, it's like there's the feelings and there's also the desire for like, what do I do? Like I got all this stuff coming at me and there's all these different opportunities, and then I go home on the weekend and I'm just trying to stabilize from the chaos, and then I jump back into it again. So the left brain's wanting the organization around priorities and what to actually do, and you know, the right brain's getting bandied around by different feelings and stuff. So anyway, there's a lot going on. So let's jump into inquiry and see how your consciousness sorts it out. Okay. So same thing with you, just breathing into your now moment.
So before we even jump, I pulled up the the inquiry we did a month ago, and I'm trying to say, okay, what is different than when we had this conversation a month ago?
Oh, and these are big things, so it doesn't mean that it all gets solved through an inquiry, right? It's it probably did. It's one layer of the onion, but now some more stuff has happened, and a new nuance is emerging. So we just see what's going. You may or may not be taken to the same place. I don't know. So we'll see what happens, but it will probably meet you where you are now, and we'll see what its wisdom is.
Okay.
Yeah. There also, what might have just shown up there, if we use that as a starting place, which is like, I don't solve this. Yeah.
I'm spinning in the same spot.
Yeah. So let's just go there.
The growth isn't occurring, even though I'm identifying what's going on. I'm not moving past it.
Okay. So that's where the left brain starts. So I'm spinning in the same spot. No growth is happening. Wah, wah, wah.
It's fall.
Yeah. Okay, good. And that was what,
the
however,
summer.
that was the summer. Okay. Now it's the fall. So, okay. It's fall. It's fall now. Good. What else does it want to say? Let it rip.
Well, you know, when Susan brought up the fires, it's like, I was like, hello, they're from here. You know, sorry, we're polluting the rest of the world.
Yeah. So there's like guilt. Oh my goodness.
And it's it's so funny because the crises are happening so fast. It's like, oh yeah, that was last week's problem. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Last week I couldn't breathe, you know. Now this week.
Now it's this
we're on
version
to
of
the
not being
next
able to
thing.
breathe. Yeah. Okay, good. So that and
Smoke was so last week.
all we can do is laugh, right? Bow to that wisdom of the left, of whichever side that's laughing almost hysterically from it. Yeah.
Well, I'm laughing because last Sunday I couldn't breathe so bad. I couldn't get out of bed. My eyes were burning. I just thought the world was coming to an end. And then by Tuesday we could breathe again, and we're out walking, and the sky's blue, and so it's amazing the difference time will make. And evacuation orders are now reciting, and so you just feel like, oh, okay.
Okay,
Time for the locusts to show up next week, whatever. We just go with the flow here.
Yep. Exactly.
2020, I'd like my money back. I'm done with my 60-day free preview. Can I have my money back on 2020? Oh Lord. Okay. So but I guess there is this impending fall is coming and winter is coming. To quote that, we keep making this joke, winter is coming, and
Yeah.
are we, I'm giggling, I'm laughing now, but are we going to be able to keep that mental state of mind?
So let's just agree with all of this. So this big packet that emerged right here, just meet it. So I'm going to take it step by step. So I'm spinning in the same spot. And as you encounter this in your own system, as I'm speaking and laying things on the coffee table, right? You've been through this. So I'm spinning in the same spot. Growth isn't happening. You're right. Just agree with it. Don't fight it. That which we fight, that which we resist persists, that which we hate hates us back. So it's valid. So that aspect of you that's comparing and saying, I'm just doing the same thing I was doing before, this isn't working, I'm not growing, just agree with it. Hello. From your perspective, you're right. Hello, mind. And then it went on a roll, and it's a smart roll. So we're just going to meet it all. It's the fall now. It's not the spring, it's the fall. It's like, you're right, it is the fall. So just agree inside, you're right. And then the flash of the fires, because Susan was bringing up the fires and where we are in BC, we've got the smoke, and that flash about, oh my God, we're polluting the whole world. You're right. You're right. This is spreading far and wide. You're right. And the laughter, right? The dead man's humor in a way. Yeah, just agree with it. Agree with its tinge, right? Of kind of maniacal humor. You're right. Like, this is so much and so nuts that it leads us to a certain place with this dry, droll humor. Agree with it. It's totally right. And then the whole not being able to breathe at all the various levels that the psyche has been hit with that, starting with George Floyd. And now here it is, echoes again with the fire. Just agree with it. It is so damn right. And we don't like it. We don't like it one bit. Any of those layers that it's shown up at over and over again. It's so right. You are so right. This not being able to breathe stuff is horrible. And then the humor about the locusts, agree with it. Actually, there were locusts this year earlier, just not in your region. So the four horsemen have arrived, and you're right. Like the humor, because of the solidity of the gravity of the situation, like, agree with it. You're right. You're right. There's locusts even. And I want my money back. Damn right. Oh Lord, damn right. And the fall is coming, and the whole winter is coming thing, right? From Game of Thrones. And that's serious stuff, though, what that's about with winter is coming. This is like, the evil, I forget the name of it in the show, but it's an archetype, right? Like, it's just the death of humanity, the loss of life, and the rise of evil and maniacal death, and all the things that those horsemen represent, right? And the hordes of their version of zombie. Just agree with it. I mean, that's super serious symbology and archetypal energy. It's massive. Whew. And just meet that. And as you're meeting it, I just can find my own system just starting to drop down, and just see what happens for you. Now what emerges as you've met this?
Well, I hear the, okay, let's flip it. in there, let's flip it. And of course with me, I always go back to grace and privilege. Like, I wasn't evacuating. I was just dealing with the smoke. I'm still living a blessed life in the middle of all of this. There are so many other people who are worse off, and how can I help?
Beautiful. Wow.
So that's that goes back to if I can stop spinning, I can help more.
Well, and here it is. So let's just meet. This is one packet. And then as you met that, you went to, okay, let's flip it. And there were two sides of it. There was a positive, first I want to go to the negative. There was kind of the sarcastic of like, okay, let's flip it, right? And then there was the positive side. So we want to meet both. We want to meet first that negative that's like, okay, let's just flip it, like that we're doing some sort of pedantic act, right? So let's agree with that part, because this is so serious. And if we were to do a pedantic act with this, it would not make sense. So, and it would not be honoring. So let's agree with that part. Like, no, we don't like that. We don't like doing something that's just words and that's just mechanical.
Yeah, well, yeah,
and agree with it. It's right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you went to the other side of it, which is actually the authentic part of flip it,
Mhm.
which is like a genuine flip, something that's authentic and real that you can access. Yes, we like that. So that's right too. And then you went there, frankly.
Mhm.
So you went a little bit into, oh, now I'm back into grace and privilege. And there's the negative side, for lack of a better word. The downer side of it is there's a little more of flogging, right? So I've been here before. This is what always comes up for me.
Mhm.
So agree with it, because these are big themes. So of course they're going to continue to be visited in your psyche.
Mhm.
And then there's a positive side of it, the true side of it too, which is, and I am in grace and privilege.
Completely.
Yeah, beautiful, completely. And it popped out with, I'm living despite all this craziness, being in the midst of the fires where they're originating from, being in the leadership position you are, being kind of ground zero for the race reconciliation stuff that's happening. You're living a blessed life. So just meeting that and agreeing with it, you're right. You're right. Thank you. And out of that, you being the service-oriented person you are, the soul you are, is saying, how can I help? And just meeting that, like, how beautiful is that? That still remains so strong and is popping up despite the understandable overwhelm and all the stuff that's being bantered about. The service within you is saying, how can I help? So, wow, let's just bow to all of that and agree with it. And, you know, this is heart too. This is heart, just like we saw in Susan's work, right? The big love that is in you. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, yes, yes. Just see what unfolds from here. That was beautiful. That's another packet. So then we see what happens from here. There we go. A little bit of parasympathetic system. Yeah. Yeah. So the settling of the nervous system. So good. Ah, you are welcome here. Yes, yes, yes. Rest. The resting of the system is starting to happen.
Well, I think from right now, the biggest thing is like, for me is unpacking the opportunities.
Good. Okay, now we get here, which is one of the things that you started with the inquiry that you wanted to. So yes, yes, yes. So I need to unpack opportunities. So agree with that. It's probably mind. And it's right, mind. You're right. You're right. There's these opportunities and you'd like to get to figuring them out and unpacking them. Good job, mind. Good idea. Just see what happens as you meet with that and agree with that desire.
One of the yeah, it's gonna see, it's so interconnected, it's gonna seem weird, is trust.
It doesn't seem weird at all.
Does it?
Yep.
Okay.
Does not seem weird at all. So what emerged was trust. And again, so here's the right brain, the larger intelligence showing up, and it's saying to you, trust.
Mhm. So yeah, so a big part of unpacking those opportunities is trust. Like, a lot of energy is going into what I'm doing, and
Right.
I can't, if I hit a roadblock, that's when the spinning starts. That's when the disappointment, why did I wasted energy on something that wasn't going to go anywhere. And there's so many other places that could go that I can't believe. I mean, I feel like I can't afford to waste energy.
Okay, so what happened there? We're gonna just take a moment before you leave trust.
Okay.
Take a moment to agree with trust. You're right, we like that, right? This is the right, in the heels of the brain saying, we need to unpack on opportunities. That right brain just said trust, right? Got you into that 5D space, if you want to call it that.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. And then on the heels came, but the mind's like, wait a second, roadblocks, right? So it flashed roadblocks. We're just going back and forth with the duality, right?
Mhm.
So agree with it. You're right. There's roadblocks. We don't like them.
Mhm.
We do not like roadblocks. You're right. You're right, mind. And they throw us off and they waste a bunch of energy and, you know, yada, yada. It's right. Just see what happens as you agree with it and meet it when it flashes roadblocks at you. Just see what unfolds. You're doing great.
Well, the other thing that unfolds is where there's real roadblocks and where there's invisible. I mean, where there's not really roadblocks.
Okay.
And that goes back to like post-traumatic stress disorder of old boss versus new boss.
Oh, okay. Very good.
The old boss was a roadblock. The new boss is going, why are you even asking me if you can do these things?
Okay, beautiful. Good, 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 good. So right brain just flashed. Left brain's like, I go back to the old boss, and it just sets up a trauma reaction. And then right brain is saying, new boss, no need for trauma reaction. Yes, yes, yes. So agree with we don't like PTSD and we don't like the associations to old boss. We don't like going down that neuro route. You're right. Then, oh yes, other neuro route. Yes, please. We like that. New boss who says, what the heck are you doing that for? That's not me. Agree with that. You're right, right brain. Thank you.
It's actually to the point where he said, at one point he said, what's your job title? So why are you asking me if you can do your job? You know? And it's like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Good. So right brain's just showing it, emphasizing it, like, remember your job title.
I'll tell you when to stop. I'll tell you when you've gone too far.
Okay, beautiful.
But in the meantime, keep going. Just keep going.
Okay, beautiful. Bow to that. Good wisdom. Keep going. The wisdom inside that's reminding you of this, and the wisdom outside from the boss, new boss, who sounds awesome. So good. Who's empowering you and has set you up to run and is saying, run with it, go with it.
The other person in my life who is really influential right now is also providing great wisdom and ahas. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, don't jump at every opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So is this a mentor, or who do you?
It's actually the person who he's also my boss.
Oh, another boss. Okay.
Another boss.
Okay, good. So give me a first.
I have a dotted line. Okay. I have a dotted line and a solid line.
Okay, good. Is he dotted or solid? Which is he?
Well, he's the one that's paying the salary. And
he's solid. He's solid. He's the solid. So this boss, we got ... And this is definitely the solid boss, right? Like up here, like he's the one paying the bills. Good.
Yeah, well, the joke is that I'm under a designation where the president could fire you at any point, even though you don't have to worry about that. So that's why the pres is always the boss, but
mm-hmm.
the person who pays your salary isn't necessarily the pres. So
well, this is popping up. I'm not quite sure if it's a nay or a yay, but I know we need to meet it and agree with it because it's right? So this other boss who's saying, don't take everything.
Oh yeah, no, he's giving really good advice on good. Don't take it all. What's really amazing is where he is telling me to be careful is on the equity stuff. And he's saying important things to me like they're trying to get your consulting for free. They're trying to use you as a shield This is not an opportunity. And he's right.
Okay, beautiful. So that's why consciousness is bringing it up. It's emphasizing this and sorting through the stuff to make this clear and to point you. It's a pointer. So agree with the pointer. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you on reminding me about that new boss and that keep going. And now you're reminding me about this boss and the good advice that I'm getting and that I know he's right. And so just thank it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for pointing that out to me. Excellent. Now see what happens.
So this is, and we will talk through this in the private session.
Okay.
You know, I've lived here 35 years and I had 8 organizations in the last 2 weeks ask me to join their board. And they're trying to use me as a brown shield. And, you know, and I'm, you know, polite. I mean, the question is, do I actually tell them how offensive it is? Or do I just politely say, no, thank you? So to date, I've sort of said, no, thank you. But I think there is a part of me that that is struggling with saying to, you know, in my own organization, I say, you know, and I think I've said this before, stop trying to brown your board without doing the work, you know? And I'm, you know, don't invite me on your board to do the work for you. So.
Good. Won't do the work for you. Okay, we're going to meet this.
Especially unpaid. It's not my job.
Excellent. Good. Especially not unpaid. Yeah. Unpaid, not my job. Okay, agree with all that. Wisdom's coming out and it's flashing these 8 asks that's happened in this short period of time to be on their board and to be the brown shield. And out of it is coming the no thank you. I won't do the work for you. I won't be the brown shield. And I'm certainly not going to do this unpaid. So agree with that. When this is what's the right brain, your larger wisdom, consciousness at large is bringing this to the fore. And just thank it for the share and thank it for the clarity. And then just see what unfolds from here.
Well, what unfolds is that even though I said no to those 8, I am stuck on a few.
Okay. Yes. Yep. There's a few that are interesting.
As a shield.
Okay. Excellent. So now consciousness is going. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, the ones that I've been with for a while they're all going through this too. They're all having a reaction to the times, but you know, at least they valued my presence prior to crisis, right?
Yep.
So I do feel an obligation to help them.
Nice. Okay, good.
Because they value me more than for my color.
Beautiful. Okay, good. So agree with this wisdom. You're right. We like this, that there are a few more as we sort it out. No. We don't want the ones who just want me for a shield and they're just popping up now and they don't legitimately like me beyond what my race can do for them. And there are a few that have already been around and the connection was already there and they value the multidimensionality of me more than my color. And so agree with this. Yes. How wise. Thank you for pointing that out. Because this is part of what you came to with the inquiry, right? Was how to sort these opportunities. And it's saying, hey, these ones, there are a few here to consider. There's some few good ones here that go beyond just the shield stuff that's emerging in the now.
I'm giggling because I'm having this deja vu having a Zoom meeting with the dotted line boss,
Mhm.
and he said, he asked me, name the few right now, name the few. And I went, and so I think that's where I'm stuck. So back to the, I'm spinning, like, you
Okay,
know,
so
right?
that's just
We've
so
literally come to the top of the circle. Like, it's time to actually
yeah.
engage. The heart is working its way out about, well,
So mind, understandably, we want to agree with mind. You're right, mind. We want to like come down and name them, and you don't have to name them publicly here, but the heart knows. So just agree with mind that it wants to know which ones, and then just see what happens. What emerges now is you agree with mind that it would be nice. We would like to have some definition here.
I think what happens is what, well, there's one thing that I'm not going to share that happens, but there's another thing that that is about back to winter is coming. You know, is about the time lost every time I get triggered.
Yep.
The spinning that happens around being triggered.
Okay, agree with that. Time loss. You're right. Every time I get triggered, there is time loss. It's right. So agree with it. And winter's coming, so we can't afford time loss here. Or it'd be nice to have less of it. So just agree. That was wise. Yeah.
And for the you know, so I guess that's really you know, I have this other joke about, like, it's not like I call it the plastic straw syndrome, right? You know, there's not going to be like if you stop using plastic straws, there's no more climate change. You know, there's not going to be. I know there's not going to be a simple, quick, gimmicky
Yes.
fix
Right.
to the stuff I'm trying to work through, and you know, but yet in my head, I want to be able to say, if I buy the right planner,
Right.
you know, if I buy the right software tool, you know, that will keep, but it's really not, or if I get a good night's sleep tonight, or, you know, any of those gimmicky things. And I just have to, in my head, I know I have to stop looking for them, but in my heart, I really freaking wish there was just a quick gimmick.
I don't know if it's so much a quick gimmick, but it wants resolution, right? It wants solution. And so the big heart, it's yearning. So agree with the yearn, right? So it's yearning for solution. It's yearning for resolution. It's yearning for solution.
Well, and I wonder if it's because back to the COVID and the situation, I wonder if I'm looking for quick resolution because there's so much, you know, the zombie thing. It's like, can I, you know, it's like, can't you solve this before the zombies arrive at the doorstep, kind of.
Well, there's a sense of urgency. So and I'm not making that wrong. Let's agree with that, because that's wise.
Well, I don't
just
know.
One sec. Just FYI, we're at time. We're beyond
sorry.
time. So I'm keep going with Connie here, and I realize folks have understandably dropped off if they needed to time-wise. I'm going to follow through to a good place, and we're close with you, Connie. But just to recognize what's going on time-wise for folks. If you need to leave, goodbye. Thank you for coming. You'll receive an email from Patricia when the recordings and the maps are available. Check out my site if you're wanting private coaching or you want to take advantage of that free recorded session. And there's also some paid satsang coming up as well. which is a bit of an oxymoron when we say satsangs and paid, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so with that, thank you, Connie. Now we're going to return, and we're agreeing with the sense of urgency because from its perspective, it's right. Winter is coming, and it feels like the zombie hordes are going to descend, and then it's all game over. So we got to get this done before winter hits. So just agree. I get it. You're right. From your perspective, legitimate concern. And then just see what happens with the heart and with the yearn. And I even want to invite the heart to get bigger and see its true nature.
Well, here we go with that. It's the flip. Like, your grandmother lived to be 103, and stop acting like you're going to die tomorrow. You know, like, just
Okay.
get over it. No.
Beautiful. Good. Get over it. There's lots of time.
No. Frickin' hell.
Okay, cool.
Stop with the impending doom already.
Yeah. Okay, good. We don't like that. We don't like it. It's boring. Okay, good. And, you know, you got longevity in the family. So, like, pace yourself.
Oh, what the hell?
Okay, good. Agree with that. Agree with that other aspect. Beautiful. It's giving you a counter, right, to the doom and to that sense of push, push, push. Get over it. You got lots of time. Settle in. Settle in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So wise. And then see what happens. I just feel myself like, that was nice. That lots of time here. Don't buy the catastrophizing of the timeline. Okay.
Well, I mean, to bring us completely full circle, I love winter. You know,
There's a flip. Yeah, nice.
I love football. I love winter. So I really should actually be happy that.
Well, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it a should, because it's back to polarity, and both exist at the same time. Oneness, right? So it's like, to the aspect that's brought up with the doom and gloom of winter, from its perspective, it's right. However, now what's emerging is the other relationship to winter, and to it actually being full of love. Like, I love winter. So yes, and right, they can exist at the same time. The catastrophizing that's doing its thing, and then the other side that's going, we know one straw is not going to fix it, and grandma lived to 103, and you like winter, by the way. So just thank you for that perspective. Thank you for the recognition and the remembrance of there's a different feel to winter. There's the feel of actually loving winter.
And so, and back to power and, I mean, privilege.
Mm-hmm.
There is an empty apartment in West Palm Beach, Florida, where I could go shelter in place and become a snowbird this year.
Mm.
And the question is, do I just hang tight, or do I start making a plan to be a snowbird?
Okay, good. So it's flashing to you. It's shown through this. Now what emerges is that apartment and the opportunity to be a snowbird. Just take a moment to meet it, to welcome it. Oh, hello, opportunity. Hello, snowbird. Hello, Florida. You're not making a decision right at this point in time, but you're welcoming it.
Well, it's a symbol of the amount of opportunities that I could potentially have.
Yes, and it's showing you another, through this, you're being clear. It's been saying, out of these 8, there are some. And then it's also saying, by the way, winter's coming, and you could be in a sunny locale. Mm-hmm. And everything else that comes with that, of getting out of your usual. Maybe it will give you some perspective. Maybe it will be, good for you, so you can look after you. You'll still be able to do your work long, long distance and virtual. So just before the mind wants to solve this, right brains brought it up. So just bow to it and agree with it. You're right. You're right. There's an interesting opportunity. You're right. Thank you. And just see what happens as you meet it and recognize it and thank right brain for reminding you about it. Just see what happens.
Well, what happens is if things get tough, I don't have to have a winter.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So it's like, you can bypass this whole winter analogy. And bow to that. Yes, please. We like that idea. Yes, yes, yes.
And that's a symbol that, I can probably overcome whatever gets thrown at me.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes.
Bring
It's
it.
a symbol. Ooh, bring it.
Bring it, 2020. Just bring it.
Can get through. Just bow to that. Yes, yes, yes. Feel that in your system. It's a different place than you've been able to access before. So thank it as you've done the work and you've met everything from consciousness. This is what's arising. Yes, yes, yes. Just breathe into it, stabilize and calibrate into that and see what emerges. That might be it, but we'll just see what else happens. It might be a good place to end.
Yeah. Let's just call it there. I would just call it there. I mean, that doesn't mean that there won't be fear, anger, confusion, but just like the smoke, I'm going to let it come and go.
Ooh, yes, good. Just like smoke, let it come and go. Breathe into that, bow to that wisdom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let that take roots, right? So it kind of comes into a grounding and roots in you, and maybe even invite it to take up larger space somehow, however it wants to, so it expands and roots at the same time. So now you've got a different thing in your energetic. It's like, ooh, this is a neat thing to calibrate to this sense of in it and stable and grounded. Yes, things happen, fear and anger and opportunities and people doing their stuff, but I'm grounded and it's coming and going just like the smoke did. Sometimes it's thick, sometimes that blue sky pops out afterwards. Yes, 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 from this place in consciousness, from this state. Yeah, wow. Thanks, Connie. The beauty of inquiry is we meet what is and what unfolds and where we get to. That's okay. Other things get stirred up. There's an opportunity to just work with them and do the same thing and see what the larger intelligence communicates, right? Your inner sage. Thanks for sharing the wisdom with all of us sages here. It's powerful work to do. Let's open up for those who want to stick around and just unpack a little bit. If anybody wants to say anything direct to Connie, anything that happens for you, parallel processing as you're witnessing this, fair game for that kind of closing stuff. And then we'll do just quick closeouts and conclude. We never know what's going to happen. So this is what happened today. Beautiful work with Susan and Connie. Thank you both.
I just would like to feel to put forth some words or something about being able to be a part of what you were doing and listening to it and your candidness and watching sort of the breakthroughs come and and riding kind of the wave with both of you as you kind of move back and forth inside myself with where I move, what I get stuck with, and then the other side of it. And then finally there's some kind of freeing solution that seems to come at the end, some kind of new energy that gets released. I don't quite have the words right, but I just want to, I'm trying to say I appreciate very much your sharing and being part of it. Thank you very much.
You had the words articulated beautifully, because it's those opposites, and as we meet them, then they come into an inclusion and a transcendent kind of quality that encompasses both, that we can't get from the duking it out with the polarities. So yeah, nice, Judy. Yeah. Karima, let me ping on you. Any closing comments, anything you want to say to close out?
I just think it was beautiful, just watching the entire process and selfishly changing aspects of myself in both examples, actually. It's so good today.
Cool. Okay, thank you. There's a little bit of feedback in here, but I could hear that it was feeling good, and with both and watching what was going on there. And hopefully that connects in with the own state of organization that's going on for you.
And they always say, charge your worth and add tax. I'm settling into that, so it's good to hear.
Okay, thanks very much. Susan, let me go to you. Closing thoughts, comments?
Thanks, Connie, for sharing and for your wisdom and your humor. You cracked me up. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done one of these sessions, just because of work and whatnot. It's really good to be here, actually. So thanks Christina for hosting this, and thanks for everyone for listening to me babble and
You didn't babble. Mm-hmm. Happy to do it, and thank you for the vulnerability and deep work you did. There was no babbling in that at all. But I know that's humor. Both of you have a good sense of humor, and I appreciate that too. Yeah.
So thank you.
Excellent. Connie, any closing comments, statements?
Thank you. Just thank you. What a great way to spend a Saturday morning.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Thanks. I appreciate you. Right back at you. Super powerful. I'm just going to look at my dates, and I will share the dates as it's emerging here. One sec, I'll stop sharing that. Okay, let's see if I can share this. I think I can. That's what I want to share. Okay. This is behind the scenes in our... Okay, so we've got the dates for the Sanghas that are merging, which is like what we did here, but it's with a group of people who are consistent. And it's a 4-month, I may extend these dates, but the start date is gonna stay, right? When I create a new container, there's a creative process that I go through for it to kind of come into being. So this is tentative at this point. This is for 4 months. I may extend this to 6 months. So there's going to be a Tuesday cohort and a Saturday cohort. Right now it's 18 sessions. I may add 2 more months onto that. Like I said, it's going to be weekly, with the exception for we'll take a week off at Christmas, that kind of winter break time. There's 2 cohorts, and there's no like cross bopping back and forth in the cohorts because they're distinct groups, right? There's bonding and understanding each other that's going to happen. You're certainly welcome to do both if you want, but you can't flip-flop between the two of them. Tuesdays will be in the evening from 4:30 to 6 Pacific. I'm thinking that's going to help with people in North America and also for Asia, Australia, right? It'll give them some access. And then there's a Saturday cohort for having different timing that will be of use to other people. And the Saturdays will start on October 17th. Again, there will be a break at the Christmas holiday, and the time is going to be the time that we did today, 10 to 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Again, take these closing dates lately. They may stick or I may push them out a bit, but I know the start dates will be that. So if you are interested in coming into a private satsang, very similar to what we're doing here, I will be adding in meditation as well. So we're going to start with meditation. And there will, if you've done my practical energy work, I want to bring in Alpha Mind, which is another wonderful technique for connecting with the right brain, fuller sense of our intelligence. And there will be, I'm sure, orphan rescue and some of the other things that we see happening in here. If you've been through my Shift It lately, or you've been in these process pop-ups, or you've done practical energy work, you're going to get a sense of the depth of what we're doing. And I'm keeping them limited to 10 people in each cohort. So we'll really get to know each other and have a level, even though we're online, it's a level of intimacy. Also, I just think, you know, like Connie was getting to, the winter is approaching. So there's obviously some tumultuousness continuing, and especially with the American election happening in November and all that goes with that. So my wisdom has been directing me to create these containers that bridge over this time, right? From October into November, as things get contested, into December and January, etc. And, you know, it's not just Americans, it's for people around the world. As we go through these, as the word gets used, unprecedented times. So just a place for you if that is of appeal. And you guys are getting the first announcements, which has been happening all along here in the Process Pop-Up. Once I get this sorted out, I will be sending out a note to my list, and you're all on it, and, you know, doing public announcements about these. So this is coming, it's in the works. I can only operate so fast given so much of my courses have kaputted. So, and I only have so much energy, and I'm doing a lot of this free support work right now. So please just have patience with me. It is coming together, but here's the heads up of what it's looking like in terms of dates. Okay. And anything else? Visual coach certification. We have a full sold out cohort. It's starting on Tuesday. Judy, you may want to stick around and talk with me because I know you wanted to do a refresh, and that might be one of your options, is jumping into that cohort, or we can do some private stuff with you directly. And you're certainly welcome to come back here to the Process Pop-Up. That's a free option at any time. Okay, I'm going to segue into bonus time. So I'm just going to turn off the recording. Judy wants to ask a couple of questions about various things. And if anybody else has questions or things that you want to talk with me about, stick around. Bye. Thank you for coming. Remarkable. My honor.